Welcome to Recipe Club, where we debate the best way to cook the food you want to eat. My name is Chris Ying. Here with me today
is it?
I think my name is Chris Ying, and here with me today in the clubhouse are three people who just got off work. They're headed for the nearest bar to blow off a little steam with their coworkers. First, our bartender, food Sherpa, and bringer of joy on Dinner Time Live, returning to the clubhouse, Mandy Roberts. Mandy, what hour of the day would you say you are most happy? Generally.
That's a great question. I would say, truly?
I mean, why would you lie?
8 a.m.
8 a.m.?
Yeah.
How long have you been awake at 8 a.m.?
30 minutes. But that's when I'm having coffee, and it's the happiest time of day because it's so quiet. Nothing has happened. Nobody has talked to me. And my phone is still on silent. Do not disturb.
That's the happy hour. Next, co-founder of Recipe Club, making his return to the field after a long absence for a shoulder surgery. It's David Chang. Dave.
I had a hard time playing second baseman for the White Sox. Number 45 wasn't really fitting, so I decided to come back.
He dabbled in the minors. He tried to play a little baseball. He's back in the big leagues, the biggest stage. Chang, chicken wings are the classic, among others, happy hour foods. Once and for all, what is the best flavor of chicken wing, and what is the worst?
Well, I've changed. The best flavor of chicken wing is lemon and pepper.
What?
Nice.
You cannot believe that. That's not what you
Why?
believe.
I've been shown that I'm wrong. Lemon pepper is widely beloved.
Who showed you that?
No.
No,
Listen, before I changed my ways, I was on record saying it was a horrible abomination flavor. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily believe that anymore.
What is second? Okay, in the newly reformed Dave Chang, if lemon pepper is number one, what is number two now?
What is lemon pepper?
I think it's just literally a seasoning you buy that is vaguely lemon.
Is.
I think it's citric acid and old ground pepper, basically.
Correct.
Magical combination.
And it makes for a really moist chicken wing.
Finally, chef and owner of Los Angeles's most Dodgers-loving pizza joint, LaSorted's Tommy Brockert. Tommy, does happy hour count as dinner, or do you eat again after happy hour?
Definitely again. It's not even close to dinner. It's an intro, but yeah, not it.
As you can see, we have three highly opinionated happy hour experts in the club today. I've brought them here to debate the best way to cook a dish that is so delicious you can't stop eating and drinking all the way until dinner time. Each of them has prepared a publicly available happy hour themed recipe, brought the results here to the studio. Everybody's tasted everything. Everybody has scored everything. We're going to get to all of that in just a second.
Where's our cocktails?
What's in that cup?
Where's our beers? At least get us some like Athletic Brewing or something.
Me personally? Somebody get us that. Bring me an Athletic Brewing, please. Listen, the bar slammed. It's happy hour. I'll get to you when I get to you.
It's happy hour.
What kind of business would you operate if you started happy hour and there was no beverages?
Well, you half price Coke.
I will get to you when I get to you. It's busy. We're slammed. It's happy hour.
But I just wanted to say, Chris, I am effing very excited to be back.
I'm effing very excited for you to be back. Cheers, prosts, gambe. It's the happy hour episode. Before we dive in, it is time to set the table. Therefore, my lords, omit no happy hour that may give furtherance to our expedition.
Is that iambic pentameter?
It is iambic pentameter because it's Shakespeare.
Wow.
Happy hour. This is
Happy
very
hour.
highbrow happy hour.
Happy hour outside of the Shakespearean context is a term first used in the early 20th century. It was a naval term for people sort of taking shore leave, needing to get a little R&R. On the East Coast, they would offer sort of food deals on things like scallions, beans, radishes, sausages, tomatoes, anything that could sort of trap people, keep people at the bar drinking and happy. This tradition has lived on. It is food that you want to eat and snack and drink at the same time. Dave, I don't know if you remember, you don't have to raise your hand here in Recipe Club.
How does that trap somebody? Is that at some point was desirable to eat in a bar? Scallions, radishes, tomatoes?
I think times were tough. And yeah, if you got a tomato, you might stick around and drink some
Chris,
more.
we gotta go.
Yeah. fresh radishes. Fresh radishes.
I think it was
Every
more
day,
like,
3:00, they've got the freshest radishes.
Listen. The choice between a place
Tempting.
with radishes and without radishes.
Yeah.
I guess you might take the place without radishes. Mandy,
Yes.
we've actually shared in some after work happy hours together.
We
Sometimes
have.
after a dinner time live, a few people would go across the way and have some drinks across the way from our studio. Paint me a picture for those who have never experienced an after work happy hour. What kind of things are you eating, drinking, talking about? What does a happy hour look like?
The conversation topics vary greatly, and I would say it's mostly to do with work, which is a funny thing because after work you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about work because I was just at work, but then you end up just talking about work because you figure out that that's what you all have in common. Food wise, I would say it's snacky, salty, because it's meant to keep you drinking, and it's like you have to really toe the line between getting drunk and
Heard of it.
staying a little on the like I can drive home side, because you can't be getting a DUI on your way home.
But you have to, at work, they should train you how to drive with one eye open.
What
mean,
job?
Not wrong.
Which job?
No.
Just saying, like, I've only been told in a corporate environment,
jobs.
that's what they try to teach you.
This is, I mean, we are getting to the meat of the matter here. I found this out in researching here. Happy hour is illegal in 10 states because it encourages this consumption of alcohol, the food and drink. Is the boss invited to happy hour?
I would hope so. But I will say as a boss, like most of my staff has gone to the Silver Lake Lounge across the street.
You're not invited.
I've never once been invited.
Boss ain't invited.
It's lonely
I
at
don't
the
think
top.
they don't want you there. They want
To be honest, you don't want to hang out with them either.
You're not,
That's
again.
what you say. Talk a little bit about the food side of things, Dave. What are there foods flavors that make more sense?
Can I
with
be honest?
drinking?
As someone that's worked for the most part outside of 1 year in a corporate world, I've never really spent time in happy hour because I'm always working during happy hour. So I wouldn't even know what this happy hour thing is even about because, first of all, too, for me, I don't want to go to a restaurant when people are going to intentionally go there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I want to, yes. No, like when it's groups
crowded, it's
of
like,
congregated
LA
people.
restaurant week is not for you. Not when people are being driven.
I mean,
to
it's the same reason I don't like brunch. I don't want to go when a lot of people are there intentionally
Yeah.
for a reason other than
that.
like eating.
It is kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, it's
I like
a nightmare.
that.
You know what I mean?
I do.
I mean, it doesn't mean that I don't want to take their. I'm sorry. I don't want to take their money.
Yeah.
I don't want to take their money, but I don't want to partake or imbibe with the
happy
the
hour.
general population.
masses.
I hear what you're saying.
But also that first year where I did have happy hour, I hated my everyone I work with so much. I was like, I just spent all day with you trying to avoid talking to all of you to begin with. Why would I want to spend another hour with you guys as well?
This is your thing. that's
Yeah.
not a universal
Right?
experience.
Yeah.
I
It's true.
really enjoy happy hour. I really like
The reason
getting
why
drinks
people have
with
happy
my
hour is because they
coworkers.
love their job so much.
No, you love the people around you so
And-
much. I legitimately, I will not stand by here and accept that happy hour is bad. Happy hour is a great time.
You worked
also-
in publishing at the most boutique, strange place
Yeah, with a bunch of people I really cared about and had a good time with afterward.
in the
And
city of
took
San
advantage-
Francisco, which doesn't really count.
And took advantage of cheap drinks and cheap snacks. I'm not gonna.
What did he say?
No, you just were talking about the price. And I was going to say that hadn't been mentioned yet.
Cheap drinks and cheap snacks.
That's all anybody heard. But what I'm...
If I said something else,
No,
I
you
really
didn't.
blacked out.
You
Am I
didn't.
losing my mind?
No. At happy hour?
Does cheap snacks mean something that I don't understand?
I
French fries are at a discount. This is all I'm
It's
talking
all
about.
half
cheap
price.
I'm not even going to ask Dave Chang a question anymore. Tommy,
yeah.
foods that go well with drinking. Mandy said salty.
Well, for happy hour specifically, like growing up, when we would go to, can I say the names of chains?
Sure.
Yeah, like I remember most vividly going to like Chili's, going to Claim Jumper was like the
Ooh,
hot
yum.
zone.
They've
for,
got good
Irish
bread and
nachos
butter.
specifically.
Please
Irish
bring
nachos.
back wings.
That's all we can get away with.
Barbecue sauce.
fair use.
Yeah.
Irish nachos,
Was-
probably offensive, but very delicious.
Yeah.
Potato skins basically topped with nacho toppings.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very, very delicious.
Yeah.
this isn't just a uniquely American tradition. The idea of
Offensive to who?
to the Irish, I think. Just the idea of a little drink, a little snack. It's not necessarily a meal. This is a tale as old as time. Mexico City, you have cantinas where food and drink go hand in hand. I think that this is something that feels, you have to specifically point to in America, but is very common practice all over the world, all the time. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and one place where it is most definitely
there's a
5 o'clock right now, in fact, is at the El Camino bar in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where I have organized a special guest, Jack Rearden, brother of our producer, Kelsey. Jack.
Yes.
You are legitimately at a happy hour in Fort Lauderdale right now, right?
I am, yes. Yes, indeed.
You look the part. Did you just get off of work? You're wearing a tie and a dress shirt and you're at the bar.
Yes. Yeah, I worked 5 minutes away here. Nice quick walk down the street on Las Olas, where all the restaurants and shops are. So it was a quick, easy venture over here.
Jack, can I ask a question? I don't necessarily believe, like a lot of people may not believe in Apollo 11 on the lunar landing. I don't know if I believe that you're actually wearing office pants.
Can we see what's down below? HR hot zone.
Yeah.
Come on.
You ready?
Oh! More in office gear at the bar. Jack, we cannot, because we have not signed any waivers, show the rest of the people at the bar, but how many people are around you right now?
I'd say 5 people or so. At this bar, it's kind of like an open seat. The piranhas waiting to get the first piece of meat in the water. It's anytime you drive by here, walk by, it's always packed today. That's for the bills.
What's the drink special right now? What are the specials on the happy hour menu?
Well, here I'll kind of flip the camera here. So let's see. So we have $6 margaritas. Right now, I'm having just a classic. My girlfriend in the background is having the guava habanero. And then we have half off wines, $3 cake cans, $5 surf sides, and then $4 beers and $5 spirits.
Jack, I'll tell you what.
Jack, are you the owner of?
I'll tell you what, Jack.
He's a big fan.
If I Venmo you $100 right now, will you buy a round of drinks for everybody sitting around you?
Buy a round of drinks for everybody sitting around me? That would be a lot, but I can certainly ask them.
Buy $100 worth of drinks and tell them it's on Recipe Club.
Whoa! Spotify's not doing that well, bud.
I will personally pay for the drinks at the happy hour.
They get drinks?
Yeah, why did they get drinks?
Why do they not get drinks?
It's not up to us how they're getting home.
And they still have to drive home. They don't know if they're driving home.
Jack is going way out of his way to appear on our podcast. You guys
hey, Jack, how many people currently at 6-ish o'clock are overserved right now?
Yeah.
How many do you think are actually like 3 sheets? Maybe one?
Yeah, it's that. The over is at 0.5, and I'd be leaning the under right now.
How many people in the bar do you think love their jobs?
I think you could probably the same over under.
Well, they're on their way to loving them more if they have a few more drinks. We're gonna send you some money. Buy the people around you around on Recipe Club.
Where's our drinks?
Thank you.
Dave is so jealous right
Thank you
now.
for your time,
Have a happy hour.
Make sure people know. Does it seem like there are any Recipe Club fans around you right now?
I can certainly do some promotional videos for you.
All right,
Jack.
With the $100 that you said.
Jack, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jack.
Have a cold one on me.
Get blacked out drunk.
We'll do.
Call an Uber.
We'll do. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
What country in the world has the best bar food?
Spain.
So easy to say Spain? For drinking?
It's just
Because you're
pinchos. They're
referring to
so
Tapas?
no, it's more like pinchos
Pincho.
Pinchos.
because they're so small and salty. And
if you could come up
fast
with a
and
list,
easy.
I don't know. Spain's clearly.
It's a culture of that hour.
Here's the
Let's come
question.
on. What's most overrated? I'm going to say America. Maybe.
Well, I was going to say, do you think America cracks the top 10?
I don't know. Everyone
Top
assumes
10?
that we are, but it's great. Don't get me wrong.
10's a lot of countries.
America's got great drinking food, but is it better than the Japanese?
We
better
kind
than
of
Japanese.
steal everyone else's as our happy hour.
You
So,
know-
like, do you get to count?
I know that's another thing, but here's another.
Not
I'm just
really.
now like really
Mac and
worried
cheese?
about this. You know what I think is the most overrated, which should clearly have for all the drinking they do, all of England and the UK.
Mm.
Oof.
Yeah,
Food
do-
wise, yeah.
What
but I
is
mean,
their happy hour snack? Chips?
Just like a handful of old nuts.
I was gonna
Mashed
s-
peas.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like
Well,
saltine
pub
crackers.
food is. I think pub food is actually a little different than happy hour food.
Yeah.
But just drinking, only Americans drink at like a set designated time.
Right.
But like, I feel like England should, for all the drinking they do, and they are really good at it, should have better bar food,
Agree with
It's
that.
true.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm on board with that.
Italy. How many
The
arancinis do you
aperitivo.
get?
Yeah.
It's an
With
arancini
nuts and
a
little-
Tea sandwich
olives?
is it's a tea sandwich.
Sure.
France,
But you're writing all these places off, which makes me think America is in the top 5.
Germany, Austria,
Sausages,
very
yeah.
strong.
Sure.
I mean, it's simple,
Pretzels.
but they like
Potatoes.
You know,
Sausages. Sure.
sustenance. Spain is certainly up there,
I love a good.
But as you were, so maybe you can finally answer my question.
but Mexico. And I'm not doing it just because of Aguachile that I made.
Yeah.
Mexico clearly might be top 2, top 3 contender. Spain, Mexico, Japan.
Okay. So as you were talking, you're listing these things that are good or bad, these places that have a good drinking food culture versus not. What makes a good food to accompany alcohol then, or drinking?
What's more important, the food or the booze?
The combination of the two, the fact that they go well together.
Are you asking from a ownership standpoint
No,
or a
no.
patron standpoint?
I think
Because the booze is the more like lucrative for the owners.
no. I'm just like, what's more important to you to have? Good food or good booze?
I've always enjoyed
Oh.
the food more.
Correct.
Like I know the drink's gonna be the drink. So if a place has a good slider, a good
That's-
whatever, I'm gonna go there.
I think
That's
that's 100%
interesting.
because what I'm going to order is just going to be something you pour out of a bottle directly into my mouth anyway. So
much.
just give me good food to go with it.
I don't know if I agree. I mean, I get what you're saying, obviously, because I love a good little bite. But if the cocktail is good and it's
But here's
Half
what you're
price,
saying. Is
like-
happy hour cocktail or is it beer?
not beer, I'm not ever drinking beer.
Depends on what I'm doing. But if I'm traveling, I'm at a happy hour. It's like a martini, more of a martini. vibe.
I'm glad we're cutting straight to the chase here because I don't believe that martini can share the same real estate with happy hour.
Why?
Martini is it's a special.
Yeah,
It's something special.
it is very special.
You know. That's like saying like a stocking on Christmas Day is a present. It's not the same thing.
I think the dinner time
A
live
martini
table
is
would
something
tell a
else.
different
It's its
story.
own category.
There
It's its own.
would be
thing.
like 8 of us at a table and 6 of us would have martinis, and it was special.
I feel like
For
the
its
the
own
food.
special
I'm gonna go for the
reason.
food. And the martini's never on special.
No.
It's never on special.
I'm
So
just
it's
saying,
not
like
really part of
martini's not happy hour. You don't
I think you can
martini's
get
happy
like
hour?
a well drink that's it's $2 off.
Margarita is a happy hour drink.
Sure.
Margarita.
Beer.
Half off beers and wines are always the happy hour thing.
Yeah,
You know, it's a
margarita's kind of the king of the booze
Happy hour vibe.
type of.
It's a very happy hour thing. I don't think that a martini is a happy hour. That's maybe just me, but I think that's the provenance of a 3 martini dinner.
No, you should never have 3 martinis.
Yeah.
you knock out the first 2 on the way to dinner is the point here. All right, we have to proceed here. We have set the table. We have more than set the table. The table is completely set. We need to move into our recipe reports. There are more than 350 million results when you Google happy hour recipe, everything from shrimp cocktail to olive tapenade to baked chicken wings. Each of our 3 recipe club members has chosen a recipe to take for a spin today. This week's recipes come directly from Chef Ferran Adria via Food 52, Chef Gabriela Camara via the Masterclass website, and user Swedish Milk from allrecipes.com. Tommy, Dave, and Mandy brought the results of their investigative work to the studio. Everybody tasted everything. We scored everything. We've got questions. We've got comments. We're going to go one by one, starting with our Recipe Club veteran now. Mandy Roberts, you chose Devils on Horseback, a classic dish of bacon-wrapped dates. This is something similar to something you saw in Dinner Time Live from my family, the bacon-wrapped kielbasa. The name Devils on Horseback has something to do with the fact that these would be served traditionally sizzling hot and therefore devil-like. What was your experience? Why'd you pick this recipe?
If anybody knows anything about me thus far with Recipe Club, it's that I like to make an easy recipe. So it was an easy recipe. I hate the name more than anything. Wish I could call it anything else, but alas, here we are.
Whoa. I think the name is excellent.
It's a lot of words for a really small bite of food that really is just a bacon wrapped date.
You think that small foods deserve small names?
I don't know. I just like Devils on Horseback. It just feels so.
That's what the British are good at, though.
That's the only thing.
It's the only thing,
I know,
clearly.
it's naming things. Sometimes
good.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like Turkish Delight. Wasted name, great name on
But
a terrible dish.
what's the horseback?
So
And what-
Angels on Horseback is a bacon-wrapped oyster. So my deductive logic says the horse is the bacon for some reason.
Yeah, but a date. We're going to call a date a devil. I don't know. It's a stretch. Can we we'll move on.
Carry on.
So I picked this because it's easy. It's a small bite. It's very satisfying. It's both sweet and savory, which I love. I love bacon. Bacon on anything. I love bacon all day. So
Horsebacks. I mean, you love horseback.
I love horsebacks.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's all. That's why I picked it.
How do you make this?
How do you make it? So the dates that I chose are already pitted because otherwise that would take an exorbitant amount of time that I just don't care to do. So Trader Joe's has medjool dates that are already pitted, very soft. So you just peel those apart. You pop in. This recipe said a smoked almond.
Mm-hmm.
So I put in some of them 2 smoked almonds because the dates were kind of large. Then you shut it back up and you wrap it with half a piece of bacon. You roll it in some ginger and soy sauce, and then you take it and roll it in some brown sugar. And then you put it in a baking dish and you bake it on 400 for 15 minutes. And there you have it. That's what you get. And it's a sweet and savory little satisfying bite. I don't know. The one thing that I was thinking about with the happy hour dishes is that like it's nice to have a little sustenance because you're drinking. I don't know if this would do that.
Oh, you think a happy hour dish has to have some heft to it?
A little. Like to soak up the alcohol that you are eventually going to get in your car and drive home. So yes, like a little bit of bread or a little bit of potato or a little bit of something. The horseback is not doing it.
May I suggest
Yes.
a humble suggestion?
Sure.
This happens to be a suggestion we come up with often here on Recipe Club. Just eat some more.
Yeah.
Just eat more.
Sure. But
A
like,
lot of those.
I don't know. It's still not a lot of. It's fine.
You've
Even
had
you
this.
could put that in a baguette.
There you go. Squish it in a baguette.
You know?
Put it on
A
top of some
bocadillo.
potatoes.
A little bocadillo.
A little
Put it
bocadillo.
on a crostini.
Yeah.
Had you had this dish before?
At some point in my life.
Before I get into the feedback that your fellow competitors had, what did you? One of them is coming. He's coming in for another one. It's happy hour
The
for
fact
Dave.
that
He's
he's
already off
had
work.
3 of these makes me so proud because I feel like he would tell me if he thought that it was gross, and he's had 3, so I think that's a good sign.
Keto friendly.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah.
Before I get into the feedback, you happy with this recipe? What did you think? You follow it pretty closely?
I followed it pretty closely. I was happy with it. It was easy. It was fast. The one thing that I did do that it didn't say to do was I broiled them at the end just to like crisp it up
Nice.
at the top. But you have to watch it. So if you do that, don't just close the oven door. Leave it ajar so that you can watch it. And once it starts bubbling, then you could take it out.
This is an important question. Dave, you just reached over and grabbed another one. We've now been in the studio for about an hour plus. How'd it go at room temp?
Delicious.
Still delicious.
Yeah, they say in the recipe that you can serve it warm or room temperature,
Like watching
which
a Seinfeld episode. It's good all the time.
So this is a timeless snack.
timeless.
Oh, yeah.
Timeless
But
happy
it
hour
is
snack.
good for a happy hour because you do tend to just like linger around. So if you ordered these to the table, you wouldn't have to like immediately gobble them up.
Let's get into some feedback here. Mr. Chang found the texture to be box of chocolate vibes. What do you mean by that?
I don't know if I love the nut, but I could also see some people liking the nut. I could also see some people thinking that it's actually the date
Pit.
seed pit. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
This was my same feedback. Was the you described your exact critique here, Dave? Was nut is maybe too experiential.
That happens.
Absolutely not. No more.
real food critic here. I thought it is a little scary because if you
I
don't,
agree.
you had to explain it. It's a little unnerving.
Yeah, because
you know-
you're going to break your tooth.
Exactly.
You have no
soft. It's
idea
pretty
what you're
soft.
biting into.
Biting, but no,
It
but
is
It's
soft.
pretty soft.
It's only scary. It is soft. The nut is not hard. It's not. You're not gonna break your tooth on it. But as somebody who has come close to cracking my tooth on a date pit, on an olive pit,
Yeah.
when you encounter something hard in the middle of a date, you are like
Automatically, your brain goes to this.
Yeah.
a great bar snack. Dave says, great dish. That matches a great name. You think this lives up to the name of Devil on Horseback?
I do.
Tommy, all the hits wanted another.
Yeah.
You're welcome, dude. This is your
I'll get there.
This is
I'll
your
get there.
initial foray into recipe club.
I
but
thought
as
you were
can
going to throw
see,
one over your like behind the
Get
back,
right in there.
to be honest with you.
reminded you of your grandfather's. Your grandfather make this?
Yeah, he at Christmas, that was like you would walk into this smell at their house. This was the smell. He'd have it on a crock pot usually, and just always warm. And it is. You just keep going back for more.
No critiques. Your grandfather made this. This is a memorable thing for you. Did your version you grew up with have a nut in the center?
No nut.
Okay.
Was there anything in the center?
Sometimes, every once in a while, you get a little experimental, put some cheese of some sort.
Yeah,
Whoa,
that's
whoa,
what
whoa.
some of the other people in the recipe like reviews said.
So what's that candy bar theme song? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Yeah, almond joy.
Almond joy.
Sometimes you don't.
Or it'd be like, instead of a date, it would be a little smoky, which
That's
is
similar to the,
Yeah, my family is bacon wrapped kielbasa. So this is a thing. Like, what are all those things where people remember the Berenstein Bears as spelled differently? These things from our past that get misremembered. I had this exact cognitive dissonant moment when I was eating this, when I thought, I don't really like the nut in this thing, and then I try to remember what is supposed to be in this thing. I have no idea. Was there ever something in these before?
I didn't remember a nut ever being part of anything. I think it was just a bacon wrapped date.
Can I say why I'm not sure I like it?
Which part? The whole dish or the nut?
The nut. And it's not your fault. It's the person that made the recipe. It's their fault.
Swedish milk.
Yeah.
Use their Swedish milk.
What up? Swedish milk. Get your head out of here.
That's funny.
Why do you not like the nut?
No, listen, because it feels like you could be eating the toothpick.
Because you don't want to encounter anything
No.
hard or tough
Why?
when you're eating this thing.
I just want to know, like, why, right? If we had the great Jerry Saltz, the Nobel Prize winning art critic, you would say sometimes you have to know when to stop on a recipe. And I think that is an unnecessary thing. That's the Swedish milk trying to be, pay attention to me. Look how different I am. And you should settle the hell down, Swedish milk.
I had the same. Okay, I understand what
Settle
you're saying.
down.
I actually think that you're just trying to be something. You're just trying to add something unnecessarily. Was the soy sauce part of it? Was the part where I was like, you're just trying to.
I thought that was her own
No,
addition,
that's-
No,
Swedish
that's
milks.
it's the recipe. And that didn't bother me because it also gave it a little bit of time in the oven that I think it would have otherwise just like crisped up and become too dry too fast.
My positive comments. The cook on the bacon is perfect.
Oh, thank you so much.
But that has nothing to do with Swedish milk. Everything to do with Mandy Roberts.
Oh yeah.
It is a perfect snack. When you see the plate of them, by the way, absolutely irresistible. Just
Jesus.
delectable looking.
Yeah.
Maybe we should change Swedish milk's name and put a petition to change it to just Tall Pop.
Just keep your head down. Was it? Give me a rating before we move on the pain in the buttness of it. Is it fidgety to fill the nuts and wrap them and all this thing pretty
No.
quick?
Where'd you
Very.
put the ginger?
Oh, it was in the soy sauce. It's
Powdered.
just ginger
This is
powder.
what I was saying. Swedish milk.
Swedish
milk getting
Oh, boy.
fancy.
You guys, it's not that big of a deal.
No, it is a
Hardly
big deal
even.
because that is don't buy soy sauce with ginger in it.
No. I mean, I added the two together. It's what it
powdered
says.
ginger,
powdered,
I believe.
Yeah.
Into the soy
Ginger
sauce.
powder.
Ginger powder.
With low sodium soy sauce.
Don't need it.
And then brown sugar. And then
I feel pretty confident that Swedish Milk's most second popular recipe is wasabi mashed potatoes.
Forcing two things that don't want to be together. Okay. That is our first recipe report of the day. We have 2 more to go after this quick, very
It was
important
great.
break.
It was good. It was delicious.
Thank you.
I'm a fan.
Let's move into our second recipe report. This is Dave Chang's triumphant return to the field.
Welcome back.
He selected, surprise, surprise, the second to last recipe on the list we sent him, courtesy of Chef Gabriela Camara's creation, Aguachile Verde. It was on the masterclass
Verde
website.
means green.
Verde means green. You want to talk a little bit about this dish?
Sure.
About
I wish I actually opened up the recipe link because Chef Gabriel Camara, one of the great chefs, a dear friend of mine, would probably appreciate
you representing her recipe properly.
Now it makes a little bit more sense as to why. So if you don't know, Gabriel Camara has a few restaurants in the world, but she also has probably one of the most beloved restaurants in all of Mexico City called Conchamar. And a city is a great restaurant city when the dining public desired reservation time is not 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., but 1 p.m.
Yes.
In Conchamar, you can have these epic 5 to 6 hour lunches where you can get drunk like 3 times.
Yes.
And no driving.
No driving.
I think my record there is like almost right around 5 hours. I think it was like 4:47 because we timed it.
It's
I need to go to
amazing.
Mexico
Yeah.
City
It's
with
great.
you guys. I've never
And she
sat
makes
there that
delicious
long.
foods and tostadas and everything. Everything is fantastic. It didn't make sense to me because, again, I'm trying to be consistent here. When I had to ask some help as to Molly, I was like, why are these ingredients the way they are? This seems to be a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. And then that's for stock. And I was like, whoa. Why do we need a stock?
The recipe involves you making a shrimp stock from the shells.
Heads on shrimp, number one. I was like, whoa, something is now really off. But I just didn't realize. And then as I made it, as I finished it, and I put a few of my own flourishes on it, I realized this was maybe the most labor-intensive aguachile recipe possibly out there. And having made versions of this, this is of a manner in Latin America, South America, where you can cook your proteins, most notably your fish, in acidity. Doesn't always have to be citrus, can be vinegar, but most of the time it's acidity. You have tiger's milk, which is the Peruvian version, which is delicious. La tigre de leche, I love that. There's all versions of this, but of the branch from ceviche. Aguachile is one of my favorite things. So when I put it all together, I did change some things. I added fish sauce instead, which makes sense. I made the stock with the scraps of the celery and the onions. I prefer using the stems of the cilantro leaf and parsley. So it is quite a bit of work, but I do think the end product comes out delicious. So one, you have to make the verde sauce itself, which is I just use the leaves of the parsley and the cilantro, some onion, some garlic, some celery, and you puree that with the shrimp stock, which I just had a lot of shrimp shells and heads, and that's why they requested the heads, and reduce that down. Make sure you chill that. So if you watch the video, you'll see me just adding ice because I over-reduced it because I was too lazy to let it chill down. So set that aside. And then I'm not sure exactly how she wants to make the pickle. So I sort of did 2 pickles, one for the vegetables, which are the onions and the celery. And I seasoned with some sugar and some... I deseeded and destemmed the serrano pepper because it's always important you taste the serrano pepper first to realize how spicy it is, or even the jalapeno. So even if I deseeded it, it was still very spicy, so I didn't think I needed it. So I chopped that in there on the pickling liquid, and I brought that up. So I probably took 8 limes, so cup of water, salt, fish sauce, agave, brought that to a boil, then poured that over the julienne of red onions, and I brought that up with the bay leaf as well because I saw that was in the list, and set that aside. One of the things with these thinly pickled vegetables, especially since I made this the day before as well, I wanted to also then add some freshly cut vegetables before, so you have different textural contrast. So I did that. And then I also,
Mandy's just sitting over here. I put the nut in.
Yeah, he and I basically did the same amount of
the two. Besides the two of you, the two dishes. Just
it was a lot of work. And then I left over some more shrimp. I had a lot of head-on shell shrimp, so so today I took about like 10 of the shrimp heads. I fried them and then I pulverized them. And then I added the specific chili pepper that Gabriella asked for, which I can't remember.
Chile.
That's it. And I added that as sort of the shrimp flavored salt, spicy salt that gave it some color. And I today added squeezed limes to the shrimp that I deveined. You have to take the poop chute out. It's disgusting if you don't. And I let that marinate, and then I added the green sauce and then the pickling liquid on top of the already fresh pickling liquid today. Merged that all together, added more of the stems and some of the diced serrano pepper, cucumber. Did I miss anything else? It was a lot.
I think in England they would call this dish the taking out the poop chute. Right? Perfect. That's pretty good.
Poop chutes on horseback.
I fried. I made tostadas instead because I think that's where you most normally see tostadas, is a ceviche like dish, and that's where it was. And all in, tremendous amount of work.
Wow.
I didn't realize how much work it was going to be.
It is a tremendous amount of work. This, I put this on the menu. Some people might not think, okay, is this a happy hour dish necessarily?
100% is happy hour.
But for the exact reason you said too, I put the Contramar one on this list specifically because of these epic lunches. I will say Contramar, one of the great restaurants on the planet. My only thing is, every food nerd in the world, if you say I'm going to Mexico City, will recommend Contramar to you and the pescado a la talla, whether or not they've been there or tried it.
Like me, I've done that before even going there.
You will definitely recommend it. But it is these long, luxurious lunches that bleed straight into happy hour, and then you emerge from Contramar and you're like, dinner time?
Yeah.
But can I say,
100%.
Having spent a lot of time in Mexico, because I like to go fishing there, it doesn't have to be Mexico City. If you're in the beach side, the Atlantic Ocean side, you're going to have a lot of dishes like this when you go to just shacks. You can take a boat, go to an island, and there's literally just a fishing village, and they'll do this with lobster, they'll do this with any kind of shellfish. It's super simple. It doesn't have to be this complicated. You can literally just put some kind of lime juice and lemon juice on it with some chili, salt, and you're ready to go. It doesn't have to be this crazy, but this is an example of a higher end version. But I would also say a more simple version can easily be as delicious with a cold beer.
Yeah.
Let me ask you.
Don't you wish you had one?
Of course.
Wait,
or non-alcoholic beer.
I have a quick question. You know how on the recipes it says like prep time, cook time, total time? What does this one say? It says that?
No, I spent 2 hours.
It sounded way more than 2 hours, actually. But what does it say?
This one.
Because mine said 30 minutes, which I loved.
Was it?
Yeah, totally. Because it takes 15 to 20 minutes to cook.
This recipe wisely does not give you the amount of time it will take.
Okay. What if I had said I was going to do that one? Would you have been nervous? I would have been.
No, I don't think it's
nervous.
Well, ask
for
Dave.
me.
Do you think it's particularly complicated, even if it's long?
You can make this more simple, but I will say this is the fact that you can make it with the shrimp stock. This makes sense for a restaurant version. This is one of the differences between restaurant. There's all kinds of subtleties and nuance in this that you wouldn't necessarily have to do. But if you're going to have a restaurant like Contramar, you're going to want to put all the effort and work and love into it. So that's why. And I would also say this is also a great dish to make for happy hour because it's awesome room temp. You clearly want to make it cold, but you also want at least an hour, minimum 30 minutes beforehand, depending on how large you cut the shrimp. I cut these in half. You can cut them more small in the smaller pieces so they cook faster in the acidity. but you want a minimum 30 minutes, probably an hour, to have the acidity cook through the shrimp.
That's interesting. So this is like 30 minutes to an hour because as I was reading more about Aguachile specifically, and what Chef Camarón says in this recipe is you don't want to serve this 5 hours later. You don't want to serve it the next day. The kind of hallmark of Aguachile, and I do think you definitely achieved this, was one of my positive comments as we get into the reports here, is it's not denatured, cooked in the acidity to the point where it is completely firm. It still has some rawness to it, and that is part of the Aguachile appeal. So this was like 30 minutes to an hour of acidity, you think, Chang?
Yep.
Okay. Whether it was the ground up shrimp head powder and chili on top or the shrimp stock, I thought it was really nice that you had so much pronounced shrimp flavor in this. That was really wonderful.
Camarone.
I recognize what you're saying. You can make this way simpler. You can chop up some fish or shrimp and put lime juice on it and salt, and you're good to go. But this was delicious because it was not just that heat and acidity. It was also very savory.
You guys set me up.
How?
You guys all set me up, knowing that I was going to do the second from the last, and you put the most labor-intensive.
You're going to tell us your method. We're going to use that to our advantage too.
Is that your hallmark? You do that
I
every
always do the
time?
second and last one. I'll never open up the recipe. And I'll make it.
Just by name.
Those are my comments. I didn't have any negative critiques on this. I do imagine it took more time than necessary, but for anybody who thinks ceviche is just sort of acidity and heat and seafood, this was really nicely nuanced. It had so much complexity.
I made it. I think it's delicious.
It was delicious.
delicious.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have certain, you expect certain things in life, like it being delicious, then you should make it this way.
Tommy, you thought the flavors were perfect amount of spice for you?
Yeah, the end there, that was perfect.
I can't take any credit. This is all Chef Gabrielle. I'm just her vessel.
There you go.
You didn't
Well
realize
done.
that until just now when you found out where the recipe came from. Tommy, you like maybe a smaller piece of shrimp?
No, like they have little bite size, easier to scoop with the
tostada.
tostada. There you go.
Do you have to say it like that?
But I think in America, you probably would do it with the tortilla chip, and then you would mince it up. But I know, having had this, they're eating it with a fork and spoon type of thing.
Another interesting thing when you have tostadas in lots of parts of Mexico, they are not actually fried. They're just, you'll see them air dried outside on like a blanket. So it's a totally different texture. Mandy, light and bright and seasoned perfectly.
It's true.
Again,
Beautiful to look at, makes you want a margarita.
Yes.
that was so nice, a margarita.
So nice.
You know what? I'm sure if I was at Tommy's beautiful establishment, we'd have some kind of beautiful cold beverage.
100%.
I'm sorry.
Do you guys think I'm the waiter? I'm not here for that. You had your critiques, I feel, are accurate. Big portion. Too much for you?
Just like when I think of happy hour, I'm usually sharing. So I'm not with fork and knife. I am with one bite at a time type of vibe.
Messy to eat and mixed happy hour company, bad breath monster.
Bad breath monster. Yeah.
Well, again, here's the problem. This is when people say, "Oh, in your Korea, everyone has kimchi breath." It's like when you're making out with somebody that's also eating kimchi, it's okay. Like if everybody has bad breath, it's okay.
I don't
Do
know.
not make out with your coworkers after happy hour.
I was just going to say, you find cheap drinks and cheap, what was it that you were
Well,
saying?
he was saying cheap snacks.
Cheap snacks.
Okay.
Snacks.
I've done nothing wrong. I will apologize for nothing. All right. Well, thank you, Dave. That is our second recipe report. We've got one more to go. This one comes
boy.
courtesy of our newcomer,
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
who's already boying. I'm
boy.
not sure the nature of this.
Yeah.
Tommy,
Yeah.
you chose from the list of recipes provided to you a potato chip tortilla española, the famous method first published by Farah and Adria of LBE fame. This one has been adapted, in scare quotes, by Food 52. Before you dive in, I want to say a few words for this recipe overall. People think this is one of the most republished recipes in the world, the Farah and Adria potato chip tortilla. People like to talk about this as a quick hack, But in my mind, if you don't really understand what Ferran Adria did for cuisine, I actually think you shouldn't separate what is going on with this dish and this idea from what people sort of mislabel as molecular gastronomy. Dave might disagree with me, but I think that Ferran and Albert and everybody there basically took a dish and reconsidered every single aspect of that dish, what it was doing there, what it could be, what else might happen there in its place, and still try to keep the dish itself alive. So people think it was all reverse spherification and crazy sodium alginates
What are you talking
and things
about?
like that, but like this dish has
something to do with that?
Yeah, in spirit, I think.
No, it doesn't.
I really do think so.
No, it doesn't.
What it is a
Zero.
classic dish where a central ingredient was reconsidered.
This has nothing to do with anything LB.
I didn't say it has anything to do with El Bulli. I'm just talking about the mentality going into this dish. And I also said Dave would disagree with me.
I would.
Okay.
I would disagree with you either way.
I just think it's a shame that people who don't really understand what Ferran Adria thinks like he just came up with hacks for dishes.
I don't know.
It's when I originally looked at the recipe, what I first thought of was matzo brie, like which I've ate my entire life and I love more than anything. And all the parallels of the two started to jump right into it. But it was like I hate it as a pancake matzo brie. I like it more of a scramble. But it was so it's just instead of matzo and eggs and the boiling water, okay, just potato chips, which is what led me down.
I mean, because Ferran, having been like a student of everything, he just wanted to eat good things. This is what he eats personally. This is not something he would serve at a restaurant.
Sure.
I mean, he just wanted simple. Like Rafi's was just a simple plancha seafood place. Like this, he just wanted simple. That's all.
Great. So where did you? I mean, I'm not going to take any more bait. What? I mean, my job is hard enough without this. What? Tell me about how it went for you then, Tommy.
I bought all the stuff to make it as the recipe did it. But you walk down the potato chip aisle and knowing the recipe, it's hard not to look at all the other Lay's potato chips and not start to what if I just did
Imagine.
What did you want to use?
What were some of those thoughts you were having?
Well, so I was like, what's a potato? So it's going to taste very potato-like. So I actually bought cheddar sour cream ruffles and tried to do that. But this one just was the less aggressive, but I don't know.
Sour cream and onion might be really good.
That's what this is.
That's what good.
I did sour cream and onion.
Is that what's on top too?
I used the green onion sour cream.
That's what I thought.
It's green onion sour cream, what do you call it, dip. And then I just finished it with chives and some bacon.
This is what they mean when they say if it grows together, it goes together. The sour cream.
But I put some jalapeno inside of the mix because the recipe you take eggs, you lightly beat some eggs, you put potato chips in it, mix it up. The recipe calls for a Serrano ham or prosciutto, and what do you call that? Pimento peppers. And I tried it and it wasn't doing anything for me. And I had these bags of other Lay's right there in front of me. And this is the one I enjoyed the most.
Tommy, it was I'll be totally honest with you. It was a little bit of a setup and it was a little bit of a test for you. Because like I said, this recipe has been republished and tortured so many times.
Yeah.
And this particular one was asking to throw ham and piquillo peppers into the thing. And I wanted to see what you would do with it. I'm glad you tasted it.
You chose the cup of a carpenter?
You chose the cup of the carpenter, man. You chose the cup of the carpenter.
You get eternal life.
You absolutely made this kind of, we were giving stick to Swedish milk for just randomly deciding this needs ginger and soy sauce. And I think everybody feels they need to gild the lily. And you tasted it and you thought, nah, sour cream and onion.
Yeah.
That's my flavor.
Yeah.
Swedish milk is like, why am I getting strays? Like, no, we're shooting right at your face.
There are no strays about it.
I'm sorry, Swedish milk. I don't know.
I think in the original recipe, Ferran just does it all in the pan. Do you remember that?
It was you flipped it in the pan. You left it in the pan.
There is
right?
onions in it.
Yeah. But the original, he does it on this one. The Food 52 version, you're sticking under a broiler or something
Correct.
at the end. But I don't think that is the original.
I have no doubt. And I sort of said this. I was like, having made this version, having seen Ferran do it, I think I've even had Ferran make it for me. I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back. I feel like if you did not get the Food 52 version, it would have been more delicious. Mm-hmm. I think Food 52 effed it up.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not sure. Like maybe there's a consistency there. I don't know.
I when I ate that, I was just like,
it's not what it's supposed to be.
It was
why would
nothing.
Why would they have pimenton and
it turned into like a Denver omelet basically. I think is what
fair like with maybe a handful of salt.
That?
If you didn't,
they're Spanish. Let's throw some more Spanish stuff in there.
They said finish it with. They were saying like some people finish it with some garlic mayo.
Aioli, yeah.
Does Food 52 still exist?
It does.
Okay.
Still there.
Okay.
Still adapting.
Well, I mean, I knew it was online.
I'm not saying terrible things about this recipe, but I'm not also endorsing it.
Yeah. Mine are Food 52s.
No, Food 52.
Okay.
Which is why I'm trying to say is like we're just the vessel here.
Yeah. There you go.
Right?
There you go. There you go.
You know?
Yeah.
Don't shoot the messenger.
No.
Tommy, give us a taste of how did it feel to be the vessel here, to let Food 52 flow through you.
Do you have a minute?
Yeah, talk to me about it. How did it feel?
No, it was fun. I mean, but it was. I love like I really wanted the cheddar sour cream to work. Like that's the one chip that
Ruffled.
It really. I didn't take a photo, but it looked. But it still had the ruffles in it a little bit. I'm like, oh god, because I was gonna call it like a twice baked because it's cheddar sour cream potato. It could be that I was gonna try to make it a twice baked version.
I feel like
It's a little like stoner foodie.
It is
that one.
Yeah.
you know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
Maybe Pringles.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Why?
Would they hold up, do you think?
I hate
Or they just
Pringles.
Why
completely
do you hate
dissolve?
Pringles?
They hurt my stomach just thinking about them.
Well, I was
I feel
also
like
shocked.
is it just a chemical?
What isn't?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
but that
So
is
is
just like
LSD.
And that is great for you. Dave, having seen The Real Deal, I think you're on record as Pennsylvania having the best potato chips and snacks in America.
I don't want to root for Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, but if I had to make a draft, right? If we say Japan or Mexico or Spain, best bar food, the state of Pennsylvania, why? I don't know, is the greatest junk food state producer in the country.
So
Really?
I think it probably,
I would agree with
I'm
that.
willing to assume America number one
Hares.
potato chips. But
Utz.
what is the verdict on Spanish potato chips? And is that one of the reasons why this exists in the first place? Spanish potato chips pretty good?
You know, Jose makes olive oil potato chip, and I gotta say they're pretty good.
Yeah.
But as a whole, I don't think it matters. You know, I would say for this potato chip, if it was up to me, the thing about a potato chip you might get in Spain is that they're a more hard kettled chip, right? They do have a little more textural contrast. I don't think Lay's works in America because for the most part, Lay's suck. They suck.
I tell me I'm wrong or disagree.
Plain Lay's.
I think plain Lay's, like when I'm making burgers at home, that's absolute must. I think
like
it's the
I like
closest
a
thing
plain
to
Lay
like
in a
having
sandwich.
Like having it with a burger is the
next to.
closest thing to French fries
A
I'm
little bit.
gonna get.
But as a plain Lay, ruffled,
Oh
very different. Very different. Sour cream ruffled, very delicious.
Oh yeah.
Cheddar, delicious. But I'm saying as the plain Lay's, I'm not saying the flavors can't be good, but the structural integrity
like
of
the
that
weight
chip,
of it.
it
is very wafy.
It's a loser. It's a loser.
Of the classic
like
potato
me.
chip flavors. it's not a loser,
I
it's just
am-
not a winner. Of the classic potato, I'm just gonna take a digression. Of the classic potato chip flavors, I'm talking about unadorned, plain salted, sour cream and
Barbecue.
onion, barbecue, salt and vinegar count in there as a classic, maybe?
I'm not
Sure.
a fan, but it's definitely
What's the
up
best
there.
flavor?
I like barbecue.
You know, that's really difficult for me to answer.
Do choose only
Do
one.
you remember how long it took to get
The
the,
first
wings
answer?
situation?
We still don't have an answer to that.
We don't.
Pick one.
I think I'm gonna have to have a threesome.
Tommy, the best potato chip of the classic flavors.
Oh,
Dave won't choose.
your cheddar sour cream is not one.
You're telling me I can't be polyamorous
chili cheese Fritos
with your potato chips.
Will you count cheddar sour cream as a classic? No.
No.
it's not
sour
classic.
cream.
Sour cream and onion.
That's nouveau riche.
Yeah,
That's postmodern potato
It
chipping.
sure was.
sour cream and onion.
Sour
Yeah.
cream and onion.
Barbecue is so good too.
It
Though.
is good.
Barbecue's so good.
It's so good. It's so
It's so
tangy.
good.
So sweet.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Sort of like these little guys.
You're
That's a winning
telling me,
mentality.
you're
That's
telling
a
me you
winner
can
move.
split the baby in half between those two chips? I don't think so. Those both deserve love.
I just don't like. I don't like the idea of an orgy with potato chips. Here are some.
That's what you're missing. Dude.
Yeah.
That's what you're missing.
Here are some things for.
That's the only time you're allowed to eat in bed.
Your body is a wonderland. Tommy, here's some thoughts. I think this was really nice at room temp. I think we've just established this as part of, one of the ideal things for a happy hour food. I think it was very pretty the way you put it together. You somehow kind of made it a little French, which God knows the Spanish love to see into their food. You also made it a little bit like a pizza,
There you go.
which is appropriate.
It is.
It's a little flat. It lost a little bit of its fluffy height, and the egg was a little bit indistinguishable from the potato. I think
This is not the vessel's fault.
it's not the vessel's fault.
There you go.
I don't blame the vessel.
I made it as I say it.
Those are my thoughts. Dave, classic flavors with American taste. Put that on the chip bag.
Right, that's right.
Sell
That's
this.
what we're going for.
Not Lay's.
We can make a Tortilla Española flavored potato chip.
Actually, though.
Would probably
Right?
sell.
Actually,
Good at room temp, you thought too. Good vegetarian thing. What are the little bits on top again?
bacon.
Bacon.
Almost vegetarian, near vegetarian. Dave also questioned the height.
Again, I'm not questioning Tommy or his cooking ability. I think it's all there. I blame 100% on Food 52.
Yeah, I mean,
Seriously. Like, listen, they totally have that recipe up with adding all that other crap. That's like, ooh, I know it's like when someone makes like Korean food, when a recipe organization that's not supposed to make a recipe, and all of a sudden it's like,
That's not what it's supposed to look
that's
like.
not what it's supposed to look like.
yeah.
I will say, and this is very much in support of that and in defense of the lack of height. The one in the video looks the same.
That's why I used the specific pan because they used it in the recipe.
Yeah.
How do you think, can we look up what Fernand's actually looks like? Because there's plenty of videos of that.
Yeah. So Ferran's, I believe they also, as I was reading the second recipe he published, it is you mix the potato in a beaten egg, you add another yolk, but then you whip the white and then incorporate that so you're getting more airiness and height on
But
the
it's
thing.
also almost raw, right? Like
Yeah.
it's cooked
It
very
has
hard
that
on
thing-
it. It's very, very runny, almost.
They specifically said in Food 52, no runniness. Like
the other
Which
tragedy.
works out for happy hour.
The other
Didn't know
tragedy.
Food 52 was part of Doge.
I'll say this, and
Oh my
I'll say this, and then we won't hurt any more food recipe organizations' feelings. This recipe has been, again, I'm putting scare quotes around this, adapted and reprinted so many times that the really unfortunate thing is, if you try to find a photo of what the real thing looks like, you will not find it. All you will find is the recipe tester versions on the internet.
It's like trying to find like good drugs,
So hard.
right?
It is.
Why does that have to be stamped on?
Exactly.
It is
the same.
actually exactly like trying to find good drugs these days.
at happy
Mandy,
hour. At happy hour.
That's why I'm not drinking at happy hour.
Let's be real.
Easy bite, feeling good for drinking for a long amount of time.
Yes. I was writing quickly. I don't know. Easy bite.
As the Spanish would say, okay?
Mandy's like getting her next recipe from glowing.
What did you need
English
here?
your second language.
All I
Is it
meant.
iambic pentameter? Am I reading right? Feeling
No.
good for drinking for a long amount of time. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, filling. Period.
Or comma.
Comma. Yeah. Okay. It was filling. It abided by her rule of soaking up the booze. Feeling good for drinking for a long time.
Dude, there you go again.
Wow.
You would like a little more salt.
Well, what is that accent?
I thought it sounded like an alien creature. I thought. What did it sound like?
Whoa.
What did it sound
Alien
like?
creature?
What was it?
I don't know.
Was it
For the record,
ethnic?
the three of us vessels, the three vessels here have nothing to do with this guy over here.
Let's just edit that part. You'd like a little more salt and you want a little sauce. Put sauce on there.
I know. I like more sauce. I love sauce.
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 A little more sauce. Okay. All right. That is all three.
Good to be back. Good to be a thorn in Ying's side.
Yeah.
That's why I exist.
Oh, you think it's a thorn in my side? It is a giant thorn in my chest. That's what is happening here. Let's get into our closing arguments. You've all had a chance to talk through your recipe reports. I'm going to go back to Mandy and give you one more chance now to explain to our listeners, our viewers at home, if they're planning on hosting a happy hour, why should they be making Devils on Horseback?
It's easy. It's salty. It's one bite.
It's erotic.
That too. Which who
Could
doesn't
be.
love? I think it's a crowd pleaser. Half the bowl's already gone, and we've been talking this whole
Okay,
time.
erotic. That's why it's a crowd pleaser.
Yes,
Very erotic. Okay. I haven't considered that.
She didn't say no.
I didn't.
Very erotic. No, it's very
It's
erotic.
sensual.
Wow.
It's not always me. I just
not
want to be
getting
clear.
any
It's
of it,
not
but-
always me.
I just said I wanted to
It's mostly him.
It's mostly him.
There were no sex jokes while you were gone, Dave. It was a totally clean podcast. David Chang.
Yes.
It's happy hour. Why Aguachile as the dish people should make? Maybe even specifically the Gabriela Camaro version.
Well, if you want to partake in some of the flavors that makes Mexico arguably one of the great, if not greatest food cultures in the world today, you should learn because they have entire cuisines based around drinking. And they make delicious food. This is also one of the most complicated recipes you ever make, but you don't have to make it as complicated as this to make it extremely satisfying and delicious. In fact, you could even make it more simply than this erotic thriller over.
Let it be known he's pointing at the Devils on Horseback and not me. Tommy,
Yeah.
it's time. Give us the stand up for this recipe, or don't if you don't feel like it. Not to put any bias on this or anything. It's great. It's a great recipe.
I think
happy hour. Why should we make it?
it was incredibly easy to put together. I think it's also a great recipe that you could have a little fun experimenting with. Not in the
Experimenting as
bedroom,
in not listening to the recipe from Food 52
Yes.
and using your own intuition
Yeah.
and making it better.
and not sexualizing chips and experimenting in that respect either. But I don't know if I would make it at a party, to be honest with you. I enjoyed making this; it was fun. But I gotta tell you, if I hosted or when I host party, this would be on the top of my list.
Man, this is like how Mike Pence must have felt. When he's like, I can't let Trump get away with it.
Tommy, I appreciate your honesty
Yeah.
very much.
But I enjoyed this. This is really. It was
okay,
really
man.
tasty.
It's
I
okay.
enjoyed it.
If you're going to drop out of the race, who are you going to throw your support behind here?
So wildly different, the two.
I mean,
Bernie.
no.
Yeah.
Let's go
I'm still in it. It was great.
Oh, he's still in it.
enjoyed
He's not withdrawing.
No,
he
no, I'm not
refuses to go down. Even though he said he won't make it.
You led him to the withdrawal.
Yeah, that's up.
It's-
You did, or don't.
It's for the good
Stand
of
up
the
for it,
party.
or
It's for the
don't.
good of the party. Okay.
oh man.
All right. Well, I've heard all of the arguments. Coming up next, everybody's favorite part of happy hour, scoring and judgment after this quick break. Okay.
Did I win?
That's what we're going to find out, Mandy.
Here I go.
Before we can reveal the answer to Mandy's very pressing question of whether she won, I've got to give you your to-go orders, 3 bits of takeaway for a great happy hour recipe. First, even though it took a while to get to the answer, a good happy hour dish should be salty. It's going to make you thirsty. It's going to go great with beer, not martinis. It's going to go well with margaritas.
Don't you dare drink a martini.
Second, a good happy hour recipe is going to be something that can be served really well at room temperature, which all three of our recipes were today. And third and finally, it should be a little substantive, just enough to get you home. And by the way, please
Just Uber.
drive safely, take an Uber. Don't go to happy hour and then drive home. Actually, we've been joking around it. Now, it's time for scoring and the announcement of a winner. Each of these three contestants has tasted one another's food. They have given a score, a private score on a scale of 0 to 5.0. We've averaged that out to give us one deliciousness score. My three producers in the booth over here, all amateur cooks, have also been listening in. They haven't tasted anything, and they have rated these dishes purely on which one sounds most interesting, the thing that they might try themselves next time they host happy hour at their respective homes without the bosses. And finally, I'm giving a score for the thoughtfulness and cleverness with which each of my three friends here has approached their task, for a possible total score of 15 points. First, the deliciousness category with a very high score of 4.65. This week's winner in terms of deliciousness is, he's back, everybody, David Chang, for his Aguachile.
Can't take any credit. That all goes to
That's right.
Gabriel Camara.
All the credit goes there. All the blame on the other end goes elsewhere. Second, the producer's recipe winner, the recipe they are most likely to pursue at home themselves, is Mandy Roberts, Devils
There you go.
on Horseback.
Did it!
No, I haven't won yet. That's only the second bit.
Were these all done before or after my ringing endorsement of mine?
After.
They took that in, they took your sort of half in, half out recipe
I just want to make
into
sure.
account.
This is sort of like the movie Conclave at the end.
It's a lot like Conclave. Finally, for the Thoughtfulness Award, I am giving Tommy the win here, mostly for passing the test, the Cup of the Carpenter, following the recipe verbatim, deciding for himself that it was not the recipe for him, and going back at it again. I think there is plenty to be learned from that.
A true professional.
Everybody's won a little bit today, but only one person can go home the winner with a final total score of 12.9. In another nail biter, I might say, is none other than the woman who said she is not a winner.
Wow.
It is Mandy Roberts, Devils on
I have
Horseback.
done it with
Congratulations,
dumb
Mandy.
little treat.
You are not going home with just the good feeling in your heart.
Give me booze.
You're
Just kidding.
you're not getting booze. You're almost getting booze. You are getting a custom, bespoke, one of a kind, until you Recipe Club fans want to buy them for yourselves. We'll make some more branded Recipe Club flask.
Get out of
For
here.
all of your secret
Wow.
happiness.
Oh,
Now you
good
can be
things come
happy.
to those who wait.
I can't wait to put this in my jacket pocket and go to someone's wedding.
Now it can be happy hour any time of the
There
day.
you go.
It says Recipe Club on it. I am, by the way,
chic.
pretty jealous that I don't have anything from this
Well, you
show
don't
throughout
cook
the
at all
season.
this season, so you don't get nothing.
I don't deserve anything. It's true. Dave and Tommy, of course, you don't go empty-handed. Courtesy of Recipe Club's official cookware sponsor, Meyer, you're each getting a piece of the IO collection
That I
cookware
made.
that Dave Chang made.
my God.
Congrats,
Wow.
Dave. You're finally getting your first piece of cookware.
No, please don't.
No, no.
I have so much. I've lost every time.
She's lost enough.
Oh, you.
She's
you very
lost a
much.
complete set's worth of losing.
My
on this
roommate will be
show.
like, there is no space.
This is the
for
good
your
stuff. This is the stuff that,
loser
like Dave
qualities.
said, he designed that we use in the studio and at home
It's great.
all the time. It is
I
great
use it
stuff.
constantly.
Thank you to Tommy, Dave, and Mandy.
Thank you, Swedish Milk.
Thank you. And of course to Swedish Milk for
You
joining,
won too. How?
Yeah,
I don't know.
you did. You did.
joining us on this episode.
Vindicated. This
of
little flask
Recipe Club.
vindicates
Thanks to all of you for watching, listening. Recipe Club, of course, is brought to you by Major Domo Media and The Ringer. We hope you'll visit majordomo.com to join the Discord, yell at us, and give us 5 stars however you can. See you all next time.